Federal Environment Minister Catherine McKenna met with her Ontario counterpart in Toronto today to discuss the province's new plan to address climate change. This comes ahead of her trip to Poland for the 24th annual United Nations Climate Change meeting for COP24. We have the Federal Environment Minister with us today. Catherine, nice to see you.
Great to be on the show.
Minister, I understand Canada is ready to set tougher emissions-cutting plans. But does that really only get us back to our original goals because we were behind on our Paris targets?
Look, we have a plan and it's working. Our emissions are going down and we also are growing the economy and creating jobs. And so we're working really hard, and that's everything from phasing out coal and investing in renewables to, yes, putting a price on pollution, which unfortunately some provinces like Ontario think it should be free to pollute, to investing in clean technologies. We have amazing Canadian clean tech companies across the board. I see it across the country, to investing in public transportation. And so we've got an across the board approach. And the Paris Agreement requires every country to come back, be more ambitious. But the first thing you need to do is implement your plan. And that's the approach we've taken. We're moving forward. And as I say, it's working. Our emissions are going down and we're growing our economy, which is what you want to be doing.
Minister, why are we behind, I guess, the targets, though, that we had set?
We're not behind the targets. And we came into government after a decade of inaction by the previous government. They didn't think climate change was an issue. And we came with a plan. We're implementing the plan. And, you know, when you look at it, it takes time. So when you look at Ottawa, we're investing in the second phase of light rail transit. That's going to be the largest greenhouse gas reductions in the province, in the city's history. So all of these measures, you know, as you implement, they have the impact. We're talking about a target for 2030. But we need to continue to move forward. And it's unfortunate that as we see climate change accelerating, unfortunately, provinces with led by conservative politicians are stepping back. The Ford government in Ontario has a plan that's one-third less ambitious, but also it's not clear that they can even do what they're saying they're going to do because their model is to pay polluters not to pollute. That hasn't worked. What does work, and we've seen it with acid rain, which was actually under Brian Mulroney and George Bush Sr., they put a price on pollution. They were able to tackle acid rain, and it was faster and cheaper than they expected, and we all benefit from clean Great Lakes.
Minister, what is the plan then, as we have many premiers in Canada saying, hey, we don't believe in that carbon tax, we're not going to implement it?
Well, so first of all, we have many different measures, and we are working with provinces, including Saskatchewan, on phasing out coal, but we can't make it free to pollute. And so the Prime Minister has said that. But in provinces where we've had to step up because the provinces wouldn't implement a plan to make it no longer free to pollute, we're taking a smart approach. What we're doing, it's no longer going to be free to pollute, but we're going to take the money and give it back to families. And so in Ontario, for example, a family of 4 will receive a $307 climate action incentive, which is more than most families will pay. And so there's also an incentive for them to choose clean solutions. And these are solutions that are provided by Canadian companies, creating good jobs. You insulate more, you get a contractor in, you buy Canadian products. So it's a huge incentive to do what we need to do, which is be serious about climate change. Biggest economic risk to our economy, obviously something that we don't want our kids to have and grandkids to have to live with. But also, you know, we have an opportunity to do a smart way where it fosters innovation and creates the good jobs that we need.
Minister, globally, political buy-in has changed maybe since 2015 from some of the biggest players. We know that the U.S. is preparing to withdraw, possibly in 2020. You know, Brazil is signaling that they will do the same. What is the point of reducing our own emissions if the biggest greenhouse emitters are not buying into this?
Well, actually, I mean, I'm going to the climate negotiations on Saturday, and countries are moving forward. 195 countries signed on to the Paris Agreement. It's true that the U.S. at the federal level is stepping back. They can't formally leave until the day after the next election. But you see it in the states. You've got states who are taking action. You've got businesses that are taking action. Cities are taking action. And so people are committed. I'm going to be working extremely hard when I'm in Poland next week. We need to get the rules for the Paris Agreement, which are rules around transparency, and that's in Canada's interest. We want every country to have to report in a transparent way, but we all know we need to do more. And that's the Paris Agreement. Every 5 years, every country has to come and do more. But it's also the economic opportunity. And I think sometimes that's lost in the discussion. It's a $26 trillion economic opportunity. Mark Carney has talked about how Canada has a huge opportunity to be the leader, creating the jobs and the economic growth in the economy of the future, which is going to look different than the economy right now. And so we can do both. We can reduce emissions because we need to do it for our kids and grandkids. And we also can do it because we want to grow our economy and create good jobs.
Minister, some climate advocates from Canada are asking for binding legislations on the targets that we put forward here in Poland to ensure that at least Canada keeps to its word. Is that a possibility here?
Look, I mean, here we report every year in a transparent way. We show where we are. We've got a path to get to our target, and we're taking the action we need to do. As I say, my focus right now is in Canada. We need to implement what we said we're going to do and make sure that we're doing that in a smart way. And internationally, we need everyone to have to report in a transparent way. We need accountable rules. We need rules about how you're going to use the markets. And that's my top priority right now. Very focused on bringing, doing our part, Canada, making sure we play a leading role in bringing countries together to do what we all know we have to do. In the Paris Agreement, we can't diminish what a huge achievement it was.
Right, so you don't think we need binding legislation, Minister? We don't need that?
Well, we report in a transparent way. Every year we report how we're doing, how we're tracking. So I think the most important thing is we actually do what we're saying we're going to do, and we're held to account.
Environment Minister Catherine McKenna, I appreciate your time today. Enjoy Poland.
Great, thanks.